Hey guys, we'll probably give it a couple minutes for people to trickle in. Um, Not much going on this week, so we'll keep it nice and short. All right. So today is actually going to be hosted by the diplomat, also known as Jeremy or I don't know your AKA Tilapa or something.
Plot, plot,
Uh,
like that.
cool. Yeah. Floor is yours.
All right. Welcome to this week's governance. It's gonna probably be a short one. There hasn't been a lot of on-chain governance activity, but yeah, it's always good to get everybody together and give the community an opportunity to talk about the latest issues. So first off, uh, I was going to give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to try to link some stuff here. Um, so I'm with the Evmos DAO, and I also write the Diplomat, which is a weekly governance that you can follow, weekly newsletter. So it's kind of gonna just go over some of that. Let's see here. All right. So I'll post from my other account some links to follow along. So this week, we have we have about a week left with the DoorHacks EVM extension hackathon. That was funded by Prop 115. So with that, I think there's about 63 people currently competing, and there's still a week where people can enter. And there's a prize pool of $98,000, and that's going to focus on EVM extensions, which should start coming out with the version 13. So it's to encourage building new, exciting, revolutionary technology on Evmos. So if you know any developers that might be interested in that, get a project in the next week. There will be a link shared right now. And then we also saw for community funded development, the Encode Club grants. They just closed their round two of applications. And I believe it's going to be in July that we will see who are the recipients of round two grants. It was about last month we heard good updates from all the round one teams, and they seem to be progressing really well. I'd expect probably in the next few weeks, next month, that we'll learn more about the status of round one as it rolls over to round two. Um, also,
Yeah, there's actually a lot of pretty cool projects about to launch.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Evos DeFi is making a comeback, hopefully. So yeah, exciting stuff.
yeah. I can't wait to see like what comes out of, especially like how it was all kind of packaged together with the idea too of Dora hacks can can encourage the start and development of different projects, and we see 63 different projects being built on that, and then they can be funneled later into the grants program, and with that it can help with sustained development, sustained support. So I'm excited to see that because it seems like it's kind of a problem everywhere where hackathon winners might just go on to the next project. So we need something that keeps them here, keeps them with the community, and then we see it all follow through and it benefits everybody. Um,
Yeah, cool thing about Dora Packs is we're seeing a lot of EVM extension project submissions, and obviously that is a feature of Evmos, um, only Evmos so far. So yeah, hopefully those teams will continue to build. There's some pretty cool projects coming out, even in Dora Hacks.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, anyone can look at them too. It's public.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
linked it here in the I threw a few links up in the comments of the spaces. So one of them here should be the Dora hacks. So you should be able to go in there and check out, yeah, the EVM extension hackathon link. You can go and see what they're all working on. Um yeah, and then another community funded thing with Forge. There's some Zeely quests going on right now. I think it's about a week, 5 days left on that, and it's just to encourage people to try out the platform. And it's teamed up with Orbital Apes, where there's a prize pool of, I think it was about $1,000 and 10 Orbital Apes NFT for completing all the quests, trying out the decks and sharing your experience about it. So if that's something anybody's interested in, I think it's about 5 days left of that. And then the only other news thing that I'm aware of, I think, is we heard the phase 1 transparency report from the foundation. Um, and it sounds like what they're doing, they listened to community feedback, and it's going to be a 3-part transparency report. So what we got so far was the foundation's wallets and who the multi-sig members were. So it gives an idea of it gives a partial but good idea of the financial standing of the foundation, and they said it's more transparency than any other Cosmos foundations have really given in regards to the wallets of multi-sig members. So with the next update, they plan on there's a forum that was out for a couple weeks for community members to ask questions, raise any concerns. And what we've heard is that phase 2 will address community questions that have been gathered over the last few weeks, and they're working on that now. So hopefully we see that in the next week or so. They haven't released any timeline yet. So that's kind of it for the news. And then we've had on chain right now, there's proposal 147. I think that has a day or two left to vote right now. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. It's a team that is proposing a derivatives exchange called View Exchange. They're asking for, I think it's roughly $150,000 worth of Evmos. That's milestone gated. They are asking for 10% of the funding upfront to start on the work. There's been a lot of discussions in Commonwealth, and I'm going to link that for anybody that wants to read further, and to the mint scan link to vote. So I don't know if Aaron's in the audience right now, if he wants to talk about that, but that's me kind of rushing through everything that's happened this week. If anybody wants to, if anyone
Yeah.
wants
So,
to have,
quick thoughts. Yeah. Quick thoughts on the proposal. Yeah, I really wish they took more time to, I guess, take more community feedback. Um, and I'm I'm not too big of a fan of you know, releasing payments like upfront because anyone can just a proposal and just run away with the money, right? So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't go through the grants route like I suggested. Um, but yeah, it's not looking too good for them right now. Uh, Hopefully, they'll find another means to build out the exchange because in the end, like we want to encourage builders and want to support them, but yeah, governance is tricky, especially when dealing with community pool. And yeah, if there's any projects out there or teams out there that are looking to build on Evmos, um, yeah, definitely reach out and heed our, I guess, advice because yeah, we're here to help. Yeah.
yeah, this can be tough. Yeah, it's a full community with a wide range of opinions and input, and yeah, it's a lot of work, I think, to yeah take everybody's thoughts and kind of distill that into something that everybody's gonna be happy with. Um, yeah, I wish he was up here to talk about a little bit, because yeah, I think from what I read, it seems like there's a few issues. Like everybody's supportive of the idea of a derivatives exchange, but there's a few issues that maybe may have been cleared up in some way before it went on chain, and then it would probably have better results than what we're seeing right now. But yeah, does anybody want to come up on stage? Any questions, comments, any?
Uh, let's see, Orbital Apes. Hey, do you guys want to give a quick update on Forge? If so, give me a thumbs up.
They're not able to, I can add to that.
Awesome. Did you get the invite to get on stage? This is, yeah, Twitter Spaces is quite a hassle, to be honest. We'll make do. Um, Orbital Apes, if you didn't get an invite, give me a thumbs down.
Well, while you guys figure that out, I'll start the discussion. Um, I think first thing worth bringing up is the Inferno incentives. I think yesterday was the 2 week mark. And as you know, the incentives run in 2 week periods. For every 3 weeks, they are adjusted and you have to, restake into the new incentives program. Um, so the first change will be happening on the 14th, and um, the group is working on figuring how the incentive change in terms of where the rewards are allotted to in the pools. Um, so there'll be more information about that, what they suggest in the coming days. But from what it sounds like, I think the goal is to not make anything too drastic, any changes, and try to keep things consistent. So I wouldn't expect too much surprises there. I think there's like uh, one or two pools that aren't seeing the trading volume that um, would indicate good use. So those will probably get dialed back, and the ones that are receiving more trading volume will probably be increased. So you kind of see how things will end up there. Okay. It sounds like Orbital Apes is having joining, but that's okay. I can fill in. So I think worth bringing up is Orbital Apes team and the Forge team are planning a round of upgrades um, to the app, user experience and UI, along with some more integration, how Revert Finance next to the app and Steer Finance eventually. Um, so the team actually submitted a grant request through Encode Round 2, which was rejected due to the fact that Orbital Apes already has a um, existing grant from the first round that hasn't been completed yet. So the Encode team is looking into that, and given that this team and the Orbital Apes team are separate, and um, the project that Orbital Apes is working on from the first round isn't related to Forge at all. So um, they're reconsidering, and we'll see how that goes. So I think if they proceed with the rejection of that, the next route would be to do a community pool request. Um, so we'll see where that goes. I think in general, the hope is that, or the goal is to get these updates and upgrades moving as quickly as possible. Um, so I think that's kind of one of the main things that Forge has succeeded as, um, you know, rolling out new features and rolling out the app in general timely and making upgrades timely. Um, so that's something that the Forge team takes pride in. So um, we'll keep the community updated on how that progresses. But I think that is two main things going on from the Forge side, unless OPX or Jeremy or anybody else has um, something that I'm missing, or if anyone has questions or wants to come on stage to speak about that, feel free. Okay. Um, is there anybody else who wants to come on stage and um, ask questions related to anything that has been brought up so far or bring up a new topic. Okay. Well,
Guess, yeah, we'll keep it nice and
just sort
short.
of
Right?
y- y-
Yeah. So, moving forward, I know, there's been talks of, hosting this biweekly. Is that like a for sure thing that we decided on?
I think it's not a bad idea. I think that we can kind of just roll with um, how the activity and governance is um, kind of happening at the time, right? If it makes sense to do biweekly, then we just do biweekly, and then if for some reason governance is extra busy for a week, then we just add in a governance council meeting there. We can kind of just uh, keep it loose and um, go as the community does. Seems like there's a lot of things upcoming in the works, so um, I imagine we'll probably be doing a lot of these meetings.
We're gonna try one last time to get Orbital Apes up on stage. If that fails, then, blame Elon. All right. I guess, it's bugging out. So we'll call it a night or morning wherever you're from. Oh, yeah.
I think it might be working now. You requested instead of accepting the invite, so maybe that was the reason.
Yeah, totally weird. I did you pressed, approve, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just not meant to be this week for orbital apes.
Um, but yeah, I guess, we'll close it here then. Thanks for joining in, and have a good week, and
Yeah.
stay up, be strong. Later, guys.
See ya.